Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. For those of you in Asia or in Australia, it's already Lunar New Year. Happy New Year. For me, it's still New Year's Eve. I'm so happy to spend my New Year's Eve with all of you. All right, let's talk about the Chinese AI company, which founded less than 2 years ago, DeepSeek. It claims that its AI model rivals OpenAI's latest by using lower-end Nvidia chips and costing just 1/20th of OpenAI's investment. DeepSeek has become the talk of the internet and sent shockwaves through Wall Street yesterday. Nvidia lost 17% of their market value, or about $600 billion in one day, the largest single-day drop any company has had in history. The tech sector lost $1.5 trillion in one day as U.S. investors panicked over the doubts about the necessity and competitiveness of Nvidia's fastest and most powerful chips, as well as the justification for tech companies' enormous investment in AI. Suddenly, people aren't as confident. But is DeepSeek a true technological breakthrough or just overhyped? Its development team calls it the Temu of AI or Pinduoduo of AI. Is it a CCP-engineered publicity stunt, or does it represent a genuine leap forward in AI? I'm not an AI expert. What I plan to do is to get to the bottom of the questions by showing you some of the hidden truth behind the company's success. Actually, they're not hidden. I mean, if you really look, I looked all over the internet, East and West, Chinese and otherwise, everywhere to gather this information for you. So first we'll talk about what do the Chinese experts say? What do they really think about DeepSeek? And then we'll talk about DeepSeek's strange response to its enormous fame. And then I'll talk about a genius AI girl and CCP's strategy. And then we'll address the suspicious death of a former OpenAI employee. And last but not least, we'll talk about the costs, why DeepSeek's costs are not as claimed. It's actually more than what it claims. So first things first, let me play you a video given by two Chinese experts about DeepSeek. The first is a man who is a social media influencer, but he specializes in high tech. And the second is a woman who has founded two high-tech companies on her own. So they spoke in Chinese, of course, and Chris has helped me add subtitles. Here we go.
中国的 DeepSeek 震惊美国科技界，全世界 AI 大佬都觉得不可思议。美国人工智能受到威胁，英伟达股价都要抖三抖。这几天，整个手机屏幕都是这些消息。一句话就是，我们的 DeepSeek 已经具备用低成本芯片可以算出突破性模型的能力。好像确实如此。2048张 GPU 训练了2个月，耗资只有558万美金，而反观 GPT-4 用了25000块 i100 GPU 训练100天，花费1亿美元。这么一对比，我们可以说在各方面遥遥领先。有人可能会觉得不对劲，为什么呢？因为如果你把这几十年遥遥领先的新闻放在一起对比，会发现一个惊人的规律。每当国外出现什么重大的科技变革，我们这边都会立马有公司宣布遥遥领先。然而过了一段时间以后，你又会发现，好像一瞬间再也听不到这些消息了。这又是为什么？每日经济新闻刚刚做了一个调研，他们发现，如果你问 DeepSeek 你是谁，很多时候他会回答我是 GPT-4。如果你问他自己的编程接口是什么，他甚至会把 OpenAI 的编程接口使用说明给到你。如果你深入了解的话，就会发现，就连笑话的笑点 DeepSeek 和 GPT-4 都是一模一样。有国外专家是这么说的 大概率是 DeepSeek 使用了 GPT-4 做蒸馏。简单来说，如果你是一个学生，老师已经给了你这道题的答案，你只需要让自己的推理过程等于这个答案就可以。这时候你就省去了大量的思考和运算，这背后呢，就等于省去了大量的时间和成本。这种学习方法不是不行，但是会出现一个问题，导致学生永远不可能超越老师。因为当没有老师给你提供答案时，你就没有办法工作了。就像平时考试一样，人家努力学习，大量思考做出一道题，你只需要提高抄袭水平，偷瞄一眼也能做出这道题。问题是高考不让你抄了，你怎么办？现在你知道为什么这几十年来我们有那么多的公司遥遥领先，但到最后都只是昙花一现了吧？因为这么多年来，他们努力的方向都是做蒸馏技术。蒸馏技术是条捷径，但是这条路走得越深，离核心科技其实也就越远。
今天下午，我作为一个非常普通的用户，用 DeepSeek 和 ChatGPT 回答了一道逻辑推理题，结果 DeepSeek 的回答是错误的， ChatGPT 是正确的。很多人私信给我说我在黑 DeepSeek， 我想我作为一个中国的国内的 AI 领域的创业者，我黑它对我有什么好处？我作为国内的 AI 领域的创业者，我希望国内大语言模型原地起飞的期盼已经达到了顶峰，我太希望有一款大模型既好用又便宜了。但是现在全网对 DeepSeek 的评价，这个不是说在夸赞它，是在捧杀，一点都不客观。我只能告诉大家，我作为这个领域的创业者，我使用过 DeepSeek， 我只能告诉大家，差距在缩小，这已经是很大的进步了。这一点点进步确实非常的优秀，也值得去夸赞，但是不要去捧杀，这对于一个创业型的企业来说不是什么好事情。万一它，因为我们也是做技术做研发的，其实出现一些小小的问题是很正常的事情。万一它在第二次迭代第三次迭代的时候，它没有第一次迭代的那么好，出了一点问题怎么办？难道我们就能说它不行了吗？所以我觉得大家作为看客要冷静一点。我们目前和 OpenAI 的差距在逐渐的缩小，但是你说超过它，没有这个可能。到现在为止，你就算是让 DC 的创始人梁文峰出来说，他自己都不敢说我已经超过了 OpenAI。
Okay, by the way, these videos are instantly or were instantly removed as soon as they come out on Chinese social media. You wonder why? Because someone doesn't want you to hear these two experts' opinion. All right, so now let's talk about mainland Chinese media. So you get a sense of, what the experts, say what they are. So now let's talk about DeepSeek's response. While Chinese media was enthusiastic about Monday's Wall Street turmoil, describing DeepSeek's impact as similar to a Pearl Harbor sneak attack. That's what they call it for the market volatility yesterday. The mysterious Chinese AI company in Hangzhou has refused any media visits. Chinese media 21st Century Business Herald said this: amid this sudden surge of fame, DeepSeek has chosen to go into hibernation, avoiding any form of external communication or interaction. A Chinese investor in the company told, I think it's a company that has invested in DeepSeek, told the 21st Century Business Herald, saying that people are flooding their doorsteps, but we couldn't even manage to schedule a meeting with them. According to an official announcement, the company stated this. The company said, we're not engaging in external project collaborations for the time being, nor providing private deployment or related support services. DeepSeek will focus its research efforts to deliver even more powerful models. Please stay tuned. Later on Monday, DeepSeek announced that it was restricting overseas user registrations. due to experience, quote, a large-scale malicious attack. I found the company's decisions to go into a dormant state after creating so much publicity seems odd. And one Chinese observer said the same thing. And he said, DeepSeek doesn't even support registration by using a US phone. I think on that note, you have to have like a Chinese phone number if you want to register. That's what I heard. But this person said DeepSeek doesn't even support registration by using a US phone. Yet it first went viral in the US. And he said this playbook has been used before by other Chinese companies. And it goes like this. First, spend big money to hype it up in overseas market. Then block genuinely curious overseas users, making it impossible for outsiders to verify its claims. So this strategy feels like the company is more interested in publicity than real business growth, because any business who, has its growth in mind wouldn't shut down at this point. I mean, it would just take advantage of the publicity and go to the next phase. So it feels like the company is more interested in publicity than real growth. Now, according to Xinhua News Agency, on the day of the company's RI model launch, its founder, Liang Wenfeng, attended a closed-door meeting hosted by Chinese Premier Li Qiang that was set up for entrepreneurs and technical experts. This meeting was highlighted as a major event of the day and was broadcast on CCTV during primetime news. Liang Wenfeng's attendance at the meeting indicates DeepSeek's success is important to the Chinese government and is certainly part of Beijing's strategic goal of overcoming Washington's export controls and achieving self-sufficiency in AI and other industries. Now, in a rare interview that Mr. Liang gave previously, he stated that his company's biggest challenge is not funding, but rather the ban on advanced chips. As early as 2022, the US government banned the export of Nvidia's H100 and other advanced AI chips to China. Nevertheless, that didn't stop DeepSeek from obtaining the critical chips. During the World Economic Forum in Davos, the CEO, this young man, the CEO of San Francisco-based Scale AI, the company is called Scale AI, and the CEO's name is Alexander Wang. He told CNBC that DeepSeek has more advanced NVIDIA chips than people think. He estimated that DeepSeek has around 50,000 H100 GPU, but the company can't talk about it as it would violate US export control regulations. And Wang believes that in the future, the company will face restrictions from both chip controls and export bans. By the way, Alexander Wang is a Chinese American who is also the world's youngest self-made billionaire at age 24, when his company was valued at $7.4 billion. Now, 50,000 GPU, if you do the math, cost approximately $1.5 billion. And experts say the price would at least double if they're obtained on the black market. So what kind of startup company has $3 billion to burn in 1 year? And even if money wasn't the issue, 50,000 GPU represents 1/10 of NVIDIA's total production of 500,000 units of H100 in 2023. Is it? I mean, that was the year the company was established. DeepSeek was established in May 2023. And NVIDIA made a total of 500,000 H100s. So 50,000, you would assume if the company start from scratch, it would obtain that much in 2023. That's 1/10 of Nvidia's total production. So is it believable that a newly founded Chinese AI startup managed to smuggle in 10% of Nvidia's total production into China under the watchful eyes of the US government without the support of the Chinese government? It's not possible. This tells me that the Chinese government has been involved in this from day one. Now, DeepSeek calls itself the Pinduoduo of AI. The name Pinduoduo is the Chinese e-commerce company known for its dirt cheap prices. And its American version is Temu. I don't know how you say it. Temu? So the analogy raises larger questions. This isn't just about affordability. It's a deliberate strategy to undercut competitors and flood the market with low-cost alternatives, driving out higher-priced products from companies like OpenAI. Similar to the EVs, solar panels, and the steel industry, I believe DeepSeek is part of the CCP's broader strategy to dominate the global AI market with ultra-low-cost products, leveraging subsidies, government backing, and aggressive pricing to corner the market and outcompete Western rivals. So now let me talk about a genius AI girl, because I found her story to be fascinating. Where is she? Where did she go? Oh, here it is. There she is. So here you have, this woman suddenly became famous in the past couple of days. Her name is Luofu Li. She's hailed by Chinese media as the genius AI girl behind DeepSeek. Here you have a headline saying this genius AI girl's smile, or a smile from this genius AI girl, wiped out 4.7 trillion yuan from Nvidia. 4.7 trillion yuan is about 600 billion US dollars, which was the loss of its market capitalization yesterday, right? So it's the equivalent of 4.7 trillion yuan. So the headline says, the smile of this genius girl wiped out 4.7 trillion yuan from Nvidia. Well, who is she? She was admitted by Alibaba's Temu Academy to conduct AI research focusing on pre-trained language models. This is all according to official Chinese press. And in 2022, this young lady left Alibaba's Temu Academy and joined DeepSeek's parent company, the Chinese quantitative hedge fund company called Phantom AI. Now, there's an American Silicon Valley company called Phantom AI, but this one is the Chinese Phantom AI. It's a different company. She worked on deep learning-based strategy modeling and algorithm research at the Chinese Phantom AI. The hedge fund company was founded in 2015 by DeepSeek founder Liang Wenfeng, and it quickly grew into a billion yuan private equity fund specializing in quantitative investing. From there, she moved to DeepSeek as a deep learning researcher, contributing to the development of MOE model, DeepSeek V2. So after the launch of DeepSeek V2, Ms. Luo shared her thoughts on the model by saying this. She said, in terms of Chinese language proficiency, DeepSeek V2 is truly among the top-tier closed source models globally. And she said, moreover, with the cost of just 1 yuan per million input tokens, which is only 1/100th the price of GPT-4, it is the ultimate price performance king. Now, DeepSeek triggered a price war in China's LLM industry, large language model industry. And this is how it earned its nickname, the Temu of AI. So some Chinese question the AI genius girl's credentials because she didn't start her training in AI until I think graduate school, and she didn't went to she didn't went to a top tech university. She went to a teachers college in Beijing, and and many people suspect that it's one of those publicity stunt, because the whole idea, how could this one, because the publicity on her doesn't seem normal. And the question is, how could one AI woman beat out 700 engineers at OpenAI? People find it hard to believe. And people say this open source nonprofit model is one of the biggest shocks DeepSeek has delivered to the industry. In the past, such a culture was primarily associated with Western companies, such as OpenAI, which originally started as a purely nonprofit company. Ironically, OpenAI has now transformed into a closed AI, while a Chinese company is embracing open source collaboration. So it's an unexpected twist in the AI landscape. While people believe that DeepSeek adopts an open source model to achieve a number of its strategic goals, or to achieve a number of goals that conforms with CCP's strategic goals. The first is global influence and soft power. Open sourcing positions DeepSeek as a transparent and collaborative player, countering concerns about secrecy and expanding China's AI influence. And also by offering high performance model at ultra low cost, DeepSeek pressures competitors like OpenAI, forcing a price war similar to China's strategy in EVs, solar panels, and steel. Open source collaborations allow global developers to improve the model, while the company retains control over core proprietary infrastructure and data sets, and it helps them reduce R&D costs. And also, open source software is less likely to attract scrutiny than proprietary technology. It enables broader adoption without regulatory roadblocks. The model serves as a propaganda tool, right? It showcases China's AI capabilities and challenges Western dominance while appearing open to the global community. And in the end, the so-called transparency can be controlled. It can appear open, but key innovations can remain proprietary, right? So the bottom line is the open sourcing is not just about accessibility. It's a deliberate strategy to dominate AI markets for the Chinese, reducing reliance on US tech, and shape global AI standards on China's terms. Okay, so with all that said, now let me bring you to the attention of a subject that's a little dark. Let's talk about OpenAI's former employee, Sucha. I hope to pronounce his name correctly. There he is. Sucha Balaji. Let's talk about his suspicious death. Sucha Balaji was a 26-year-old former researcher at OpenAI. He died on November 26 in his San Francisco apartment. Police ruled his death as suicide 40 minutes after arrival on the scene. That seemed a little fast. However, his family and others raised questions about the circumstances surrounding his death. His mother claimed that her son had been in a good mood or good spirits before his death and had no history of mental health problems. She reported signs of a struggle in his apartment, including blood patterns inconsistent with suicide and a ransacked living space. The family commissioned a second autopsy, which allegedly contradicted the official findings. There are media reports. You can see, like Daily Mail had a piece on this, and other prominent figures like Elon Musk and a congressman from California have also publicly called for a deeper investigation. Now, Balaji was a whistleblower who had raised concerns about potential violations of US copyright laws in OpenAI's AI training practices. He resigned from the company in August 24 and was involved in legal cases against the company. So most people who suspect his death link it to him being a whistleblower. That's where most of the suspicions lie. But that's not true, according to an independent investigative journalist based in California. So there we have George Webb. He has been working with Balaji's family to investigate his death. In a talk Webb gave in Silicon Valley on January the 3rd, he linked DeepSeek to Sucha's death, or Balaji's death, and said that there is $1 trillion motive. He said that DeepSeek got the AI training data. And in a subsequent post, he also said that Balaji and his friends had traveled to China. This is what he said in his post. I mean, I provided the link to his video, and you can watch it. He said the DeepSeek $1 trillion hit has happened now. This is what he posted, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. No, it was yesterday. Yeah, he wrote this yesterday. But he talked about it on January the 3rd. So what he did is he reposted his video from January 3rd and wrote, the DeepSeek $1 trillion hit has happened now. So here's my January 3rd presentation saying where DeepSeek got the AI training data. Out of the cold dead hands of Sucha Balaji, the AI whistleblower. And here's his January 1st post. This is January 1st of this year, where he said all of Balaji's ChatGPT-4 training work has just been replicated by DeepSeek in China. Now, we need to understand Balaji's job at OpenAI a little bit. He was instrumental in gathering and structuring vast amounts of internet data to train GPT-4, the language model behind ChatGPT. He contributed to WebGPT, a precursor model that integrated web data into AI training processes. His work was pivotal in advancing OpenAI's language models. So George Webb said that Balaji's training data can help any of OpenAI's competitors get ahead. In his January 3rd video. So that's all I will say about this investigative journalist. You can check out what he said from the links below. People have called for the FBI to investigate into it. And that's all I will say about this. Now, I believe the latest hype in DeepSeek is propaganda. I'm sorry, what I'm saying. All right, let me backtrack. I believe the hype in DeepSeek is a propaganda campaign orchestrated by the Chinese government. Because it's a great narrative to say that the company used low-end chips to produce a similar model within a much shorter period of time at a much lower cost. I mean, that's exactly the reason that shocked Wall Street yesterday. But what I want to point out is its actual cost is far from the 5 million claimed. After the shock today, some experts pointed out that the company's claim was not true. So let me now address the arguments against DeepSeek's claimed $5 million cost. So this is just compiled based on various experts' opinions. So the first is misleading attribution of costs. So the widely quoted 5.5 million figure pertains only to DeepSeek v3 and not R1, which is the model often compared to OpenAI's O1 model. DeepSeek has not disclosed the cost of training its R1 model, and experts noted that the lack of quantification for R1 suggests these resources were also quite significant. So point number one is they're not apple-to-apple comparison, right? They're, let me come back. So that's point number one. Point number two is even for V3, the 5.5 million figure only includes formal training costs and excludes expenses related to prior research and experimentation. And the 5.5 million number does not account for additional resources like infrastructure, operational expenses, or data set acquisition. Another point people made is the nature of the model. So DeepSeek v3 uses a mixture of experts' architecture, which activates only subsets of parameters during training, significantly reducing computational needs. While efficient, this method means that the reduced costs are due to optimizations rather than a direct comparison with traditional foundational models like OpenAI's GPT-4. So this architecture cannot be directly compared to OpenAI's models, which are designed for broader capabilities and scalability. And also there's latecomer advantage that's misrepresented. DeepSeek's cost efficiency benefits from being a latecomer standing on the shoulders of pioneers like OpenAI. So the claims that DeepSeek is 10 to 20 times more efficient than OpenAI fail to account for differences in innovation focus versus optimization. So I have a viewer who sent me an email last week asking me about China's AI hype. He forwarded me with an article that basically panicked over China's AI dominance. I wrote him back by saying, by asking, I said, how can people who have been brainwashed or who have been trained by the teachers who are also brainwashed write codes to develop algorithms that mimic logic and human intelligence? China will develop artificial intelligence, but it's a handicapped intelligence. The quality isn't going to be good. Even if we take a step back and assume that China's AI products truly achieve high quality and low cost, there remains a major security concern. User data could be controlled by the Chinese government, and just based on this risk alone, I mean, who would dare? I mean, how would you dare to use it? I wouldn't. So I mean, there are many other reasons I could give you. Some people compare with this hype to, I think it was 20 years ago when China declared that it has developed one of its chip, one of its, it was from an institute in Shanghai. They declared that they've developed, it was a new chip that they developed. And they only found out that it was actually, it was a fake one because they bought one of the American chips, and then they used sandpaper to erase the logo and etched in their own logo and proclaimed that it's their cutting edge breakthrough. So some people say, have you ever actually seen any major technological breakthrough that China announced that's actually being backed up? There hasn't been anyone. If they, on the other hand, if they actually has made a technological breakthrough, they probably are not going to announce it. That's my gut feeling. Anytime they make they hype it so much with so much publicity, it tells me that it's not real. If it's real, they're going to be very quiet about it. But on the other hand, I don't think it's a bad thing because it does raise awareness in the West. It does raise, it made people more aware of the failure of the export bans, the failure of sanctions on those high-end chips. I mean, it raises a whole bunch of issues and problems that people weren't aware. And I think from that perspective, it's good. But I think this is a hype. I'm not a technical person, so I can't tell you from the technical perspective. But because it's open source, and I think people will sooner or later find out what it is. And it's probably because of that they have restricted registration from the US. They demand a Chinese phone number. They don't allow users using American phone number to register, and you wonder why. So that's all I will say. Hopefully this is helpful. All right, well, another YouTube channel. Wow, thank you. Thank you for the support. Charles Womack. From my limited experience in this field, the Chinese are incapable of making any chips below 51 nanometers. Okay, all right. Well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Daniel McGuinness. Lei is highly extremely hard. Extremely hard working, authentic. Thank you, Lei. Well, thank you. I worked so hard. It's Chinese New Year's Eve. I skipped my New Year's Eve dinner to study DeepSeek. And I think I lost some hair over this, but it's worth it. Because I'm as curious as you are. The fan who wrote me last week asked me again, so what do you think of the entire drama yesterday? And I responded, I said, I'll talk about it tonight. So I'm as curious as you are. Okay, all right. That seems to be all. Is that it? That's all. You know what? Anytime that's too good to be true, because the CCP is fascinated with narratives that are just so extreme and so extraordinarily unbelievable. That's too good to be true. They love narratives like that. But because they do that, that tells me it's fake. Because anything that's too good to be true, I put a big question mark next to it. So immediately it does not look real to me because it's too good to be true. It's too unbelievable. And everything, you have a AI genius girl. And some people even said that she wasn't academically strong during her college years. Someone even made the comment that she didn't even study computer science in college. So all of a sudden, you have this, but this kind of story or sensation is what the CCP wants to create and want us to believe. But on the other hand, it just, to people like me, it just becomes extremely, uh, unrealistic. All right. Alan Mandel, fabulous report. Did you know that all US law firms have left China? The story is on Reuters. Would you know why they left? Or were they forced out? Oh, I did this program 2 years ago. I did a program 2 years ago predicting that all the professional services firms, foreign professional services firms, will be leaving China. Law firms, accounting firms, consulting firms. Yeah, so I'm not surprised. There's no way that they will have a market in China. There's no way that Chinese companies will hire them. They just will lose their client one after another. So I think when I did the program 2 years ago, my channel was very small, so the video didn't get many views. But I did talk about it. I'm not surprised at all. All right. All right. That's all. That's all. Aren't you scared China will send spies to you? Take you down for talking so much about CCP? I'm not the only one. I mean, the information I found is all on the internet. They're all public information. I just connect the dots. You can't stop people from connecting the dots. Well, I try to stay positive. What can I do? I cannot change the world, but I can change myself. And I shouldn't say I cannot change the world. I cannot change other people, but I can change myself. I think fear is a self-inflicted wound. And I have every reason to fear, but I also don't want to, because I believe when you don't perceive yourself as having any enemies, then you don't have enemies. In your heart, if you truly do not have any enemies in your heart, then you don't have an enemy. So all I'm saying is just, facts and what people have already found. So, yeah. Douglas Lilyfield, I absolutely agree with Lei. DeepSeek is a tech balloon full of hot air. All right. Brian Cobb. It is reported that DeepSeek is surprisingly good. People are using it in USA. If the result is the US works even harder on AI, that's good. 新年快乐. I'm sure it's like, they have the chance to optimize it, right? It's innovation versus optimization. What they did is optimization, which certainly will give them an edge. But the thing is, do you trust? I mean, I don't trust a Chinese app, tracking everything I do. It's just, I mean, if you think TikTok is not safe, but why do you think DeepSeek is safe to use? It's even worse, right? It knows more about you than TikTok. I mean, TikTok is more like a social media entertainment, but DeepSeek knows more about you. So I don't think it's safe to use. Yeah, people say it's not answering any politically sensitive questions. So it's not answering. So if you ask a politically incorrect question, then it's not answering you. Chasing the light. Happy Chinese New Year. May all your wishes come true in 2025. I certainly hope so. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope the year is going to be good. Alan Mandel. I love my cap and t-shirt. You should mention your merchandise. Everyone would like to know, wisdom to know, and courage to tell. Oh yes, I have a shop. I have developed some products for you to enjoy. The link is in the description. So if you like my product, I have mugs, t-shirts, caps, and using my tagline, the wisdom to know, the courage to tell. I think the world needs more wisdom and courage. How about that? Everyone, yeah, to help me with algorithms, if you can leave a comment in the description, not in the live. I think in the actual after the live, if you can leave a comment, that will help me with the algorithm. And I do need your support to push the algorithm in my favor. So that's all. That's all. Is that all? That's all. All right. I'll end it here. I thank you very much for spending the New Year's Eve with me. Oh, here's Mint Creative Gifts and Ideas. Why so many mass media, even Donald Trump, also promote this DeepSeek hype, knowing it is a propaganda tool and substandard CCP again? Well, but it does raise a number of issues. One, how did they have access to 50,000, if not 50,000, but a mass number of high-end AI chip? I mean, that's concerning, right? I think Alex Wang's statement it is true. It needs to be looked into. So how do we ban how do we start the ban in 2022, and yet a Chinese new AI company that was formed in May 2023 have 50,000 H100 GPUs? How did it happen? That means our sanction and our ban didn't work. And this is a big issue. This is what I think our government needs to look into. All right. Comments require 7 words to trigger algorithm to boost channel. Just add numbers if you need them, 5, 6, 7. Well, I'm sure you could say things that's more than 7 words. All right, that's all. Thank you very much. I'll see you in a few days. Stay well. Bye-bye.